Gabriel Fauré was a French composer, an organist and a professor at the Paris Conservatory in the late 19th, early 20th century. He has a few classical hits, like his Requiem and the song Après un rêve, and also this Pavane that just speaks directly to the heart in its calm and collected manner. The best way I can describe the expression is something like an integration of humanity and heaven, because it's both religiously blissful but also emotional in a very human way. So a pavane is an old processional dance in four, popular in the old Spanish courts. You might know about Maurice Ravel's Pavane for a Dead Princess, which is a great piano piece, but Fauré was a teacher to Ravel, so this is like the OG pavane in French music. We have this soaring melody and a kind of an engine of middle voices that keeps it moving forward through some amazing harmony, all the time adding new musical colors. So Fauré composed this for orchestra, and he also did a version for orchestra and choir. But it's very popular with all kinds of instruments because it has an easy configuration of a melody and accompaniment, and especially flute, because it's a flute in the original orchestra version. And when it comes to a version for piano solo, it's interesting because there are a few out there. Fauré apparently had a version that he played himself, and he did a piano roll recording of it, but he didn't publish it officially that I know. Because there's like no edition that we can say like this is the original source for piano solo. We only have this like piano roll recording of Fauré, and you can recreate the recording using the piano roll. You can see it up on YouTube, it's interesting. So the most popular transcription seems to be a version by Nava Mukherjee that sticks quite close to this piano roll version. But this is kind of a pianistic way of doing it, and I actually prefer a second line of thinking here, of keeping closer to the orchestra original. And it's especially one feature of the second round of the main section, where in the piano roll version the bass don't come on the downbeats. Instead we have these middle voices that gets more and more. So I prefer to have the bass on the downbeats, as obviously in the orchestra you have cellos and basses, to keep the regularity and stability of that. So I use an arrangement version by Nels Daly that's also up on IMSLP, and I also had some minor changes and additions, but I'll show them clearly in the score when we get to it. So we start with this F sharp minor, just setting the scene with this kind of engine here, the middle voices. This is pizzicato in the orchestra original. And then let's start with the melody, because we have very clear and regular phrases. So that's 4 bars coming to a close, and it's a sequence in the middle. It's the same, but it's one whole step down, so it's kind of going downward, getting this sense of resignation almost. So now with the harmony, it's F sharp minor to D major 7. This is like the melting chord, amazing. And it's actually the same chord that Ravel uses in the beginning of his pavane. So let's just go to this for a second. The Ravel's pavane starts like this. So G major, when the bass goes down to C and we have the B in the middle voice, this is a C major 7, the same chord. And again now, C major 7. It's like it captures the feeling of the pavane very nice, so that's why they use it. They use it to create this feeling. Here's F sharp minor, D major 7. So now continuing. Now we can see that the bass follows the same pattern, and it continues. So it's keeping close together and falling down, also the same sense of resignation going downward. So the chords are F sharp minor, major 7, E to C sharp minor. So these are relative keys. E to C sharp minor, it's minor 7, and then it's D to B minor, same relationship, relative minor and minor 7. And we also have an extra appoggiatura in the melody, so a suspense on the beat when we get to the D. So the E is the regular 4 going to third in E when we're here with the melody. C sharp minor. Now, so we're still going to the third in D, but now it's not the regular 4, now it's the sharp 4th. It's because the melody is in F sharp minor, and when we happen to have a D in F sharp minor and we use the scale degree, it's a sharp 4th. The Lydian 4th, it's also something special with this suspension, this appoggiatura. It's a dissonance, it's a tritone, but it's the kind of dissonance that doesn't feel tense or bad, like it feels almost open. It's really special, the Lydian 4th. Finally, going to C sharp major, this is the dominant, so ending on the dominant, very clear. Bass goes down, and so it could be A major, but it's F sharp minor, first inversion, third in the bass. And the second beat on this bar confirms F sharp minor. So here the second phrase starts, and if we look at the melody, it's exactly the same melody, like the pattern, but it's transposed, so it starts a fifth higher. To the end, it stays there. But the harmony is not the same, so F sharp minor. This is interesting. So we end up on C sharp major, the same dominant, but something happens in the middle. So after the F sharp minor, here we kick off the circle of fifth progression. If we look at the bass, F sharp minor, F sharp, B, E, A, D, G sharp, C sharp. So we get this tritone here as well, because we're staying within the scale of F sharp minor and the circle of fifth. You have all perfect fifth and one tritone somewhere in the sequence if you do the full sequence, and here it happens towards the end. But there's something happening here with the E. It's E minor 7. Like it's somewhere outside the expected realm. So we're kind of modulating almost to some close key. Same D major 7, but now, because this move from D major 7 to G sharp feels more of a modulation back. Okay, so second phrase ends on C sharp. Nice solo in the middle voices. Third phrase is exactly the same as the first phrase. We recognize it's very regular and stable. Now the fourth phrase. Fourth phrase goes to F sharp minor, so it's a cadence, a perfect cadence to the tonic minor in the end. The first three phrases goes to the dominant. Here the bass is really cool, it's just a scale down. And the melody is the same melody, but now it's transposed, so it starts on an A, which is a third up from F sharp. It's Now let's move on. So after this, here starts like a short middle section. So now we're in C sharp major, the dominant. C sharp again. So we have this cadence. Well, bass goes down again. So this is G sharp 7 going to C sharp. Perfectly normal cadence, dominant 7, but the melody reaches the F or the E sharp as an appoggiatura. So this creates this amazing, I would almost call it a French flavor cadence, because it's the dominant 7 with an added 6th. And you have the same kind of cadence in Chopin's First Ballad. I did a video on recently in the second theme there. Going to E flat major, B flat, 7 and 6, and again F, 7 and 6. So it's a special feeling, this cadence. Let's call it French flavor cadence. I like that. Okay, the melody comes back again, C sharp major, but now instead of, as the first time, we go here. This is amazing. So it's C sharp to E. It's a mediant relationship because it's not part of the scale of C sharp major. And A major 7. So E and A are close. And okay, A to B7, that's to E. So we're modulating to E, that's what we're thinking. But it's going back to some minor here instead. This really points to C sharp minor. But it's going back to, it's dominant to E. So they're pointing in opposite directions and it's like a struggle between them. And E major wins and the melody celebrates on this lovely leap up to the third. But it was only a temporary win because the bass goes down. And so this is a C sharp major still, but it's pointing back to, of course, F sharp minor, the tonic minor. And here we get this long stay, a cadence of 2 bars on C sharp major with this cadential trill, like you have in Mozart and those guys. And the middle voices gets a nice moment to shine again. To F sharp minor. It's lovely because this melodic line this is perfectly diatonic in F sharp minor. So we have E as part of F sharp minor, but the right hand is trilling on an E sharp, so we get a nice clash here. So it's because we have ingredients from F sharp minor already on the trill, the cadence on the dominant. And it feels, of course, super nice when we actually get the resolution to F sharp minor. So here we get the return of the first section, and now it's an octave lift. It's 1 octave higher, so soaring in the sky. but still pianissimo, and it says con grazia here, like it needs to be restrained here to create the maximum beauty. And you can see in the score, here is where I've added, because like it's easier to play just these lines. Like that's easier and it totally works, but I like to get it more filled out, a bit thicker, so I add the octave in the bass and I add some chord notes here. So melody start up here. So I think it sounds like more professional. You need to work more to get the octaves and the chord, but it's worth it if you really want to play it as a concert version. Get that full bass. Second phrase. Same as the first. And here for the fourth phrase, I actually go back and I play it as the first version, like one octave down again. So like this. And the reason for that is I actually finish the piece here, or like I prefer this version when it's a short piece, because in the original there is like a longer middle section that starts here, and then this main section material comes back with some variation and some more exploration, and then there's a coda and it ends. But I think that this middle section, it doesn't transfer as well to solo piano as the first section actually does. So I just played the first part of this middle section. Obviously it's there if you want to have a substantial piece, but as I said, I think it works as a shorter version. So you get this like big outbursts as a contrast to the restrained, collected things. And then it's some really interesting harmonic stuff, but it makes it into a bigger piece, and I like to keep, for this video, if nothing else, it as a shorter version. So that's why I take the fourth phrase one octave down again, so we're coming back to earth, and this is actually more equivalent to the coda. You feel like you're coming back after we've been soaring in the sky, coming back to earth, and of course a nice ritardando. Just end it like that with the left hand. So thanks for watching Sonata Secrets, and the Patreon shoutout goes to A. Philip, R. Powell and V. Carl.